Hi there. Now that we're experts at finding the main idea, okay, maybe not experts just yet, but maybe we will be after these few more different types of examples. In our previous lesson, we took a look at a social science passage on the diffusion of folktales. Today, let's take a look at something totally different. A prose fiction, or what I like to call a narrative or character-driven passage. Let's take a few minutes so that you can scan this passage. Try not to enjoy the story too much or read into too much detail. Just get a good gist of what the story is about. If we now take a look at question number 5, you'll notice a question about the main purpose of the 10th paragraph. It looks like a main idea question, but keep in mind that it's only the main idea of just the 10th paragraph and not the entire passage. But no worries, we'll get to tackle these types of questions in our other lessons. Today, what I would like to focus on is actually question number 7. The central conflict of this passage is best described as. Although we were taught that main idea questions are generally worded more like this: what's the main idea, what's the best title, primary purpose, or a good summary, we have to understand that fictional prose passages are all about character, character, character. So it would only make sense to ask a main idea question masked in a central conflict question like this one. So let's attempt to answer this question now by applying our hamburger, 2080, and likely answer type rules. Why don't we start by looking at the top of our bread now? The introduction. The siesta was past. The sun was tilting towards the west, and shadows were beginning to jut out across the blazing sands. Over the mounds of rubbish, the bearers had resumed their slow procession, a picturesque frieze of tattered indigo-robed ebony figures, baskets on heads, against a cloudless cobalt sky, and again the hot air was invaded with the monotonous rise and fall of their labor chant.
I thought you said that we should only read the first paragraph. Why read all the way through the second paragraph?
It's really because I made a call for this narrative that the length of the first paragraph was just a little bit too short. I needed just a little bit more to go by, so I decided to read down just a little bit. Okay, so what did we learn from this introduction?
Not much.
Well, besides the background information, not much. But no worries. This is exactly why I taught us to apply our 2080 rule, where the weight or emphasis of our main idea hunt should be placed near the end of the passage. So let's take a look at the bottom of our bread now, where we place 80% of our emphasis on. Not Ginny, Jeffries herself, could have cast more aspersions upon the personal value of excavations. When he was tired of denying to himself that there was anything unusual the matter with him, he shifted the inner argument and took up the denial that anything which had happened in Cairo those 2 weeks before had anything to do with it. As if that rash encounter mattered. As if he were the silly, senseless, sentimental sort of idiot to go mooning about his work because of a girl, and a girl from a harem with a taste for secret masquerades and Turkish marriages. As if he cared. So as you can tell, this character is tired of denying himself that there was anything wrong with him. He shifted the inner argument and took up denial. I mean, isn't it already pretty clear what the main idea of this fictional prose is? That this person is doing battle with himself and is facing self-denial. So if we zoom back to our answer choices now, which two choices look like our scope and slope?
Well, since it wasn't about two men, we could cross out A. Between B, C, and D, I think B and C look surprisingly similar.
Yes, something about internal turmoil or internal arguments over something. This allows us to remove a conflict between throbbing city life and bland desert life. That seems pretty out of bounds in my mind. So, looking between our two best answers remaining, B and C now, was this man trying to deny feelings for a harem girl? If we carefully look over the last paragraph and a half, there was really no mention of this man in love with some harem girl. In fact, it talks about a girl from the harem here, and then he debunks that idea by saying, as if he cared, clearly stating that he doesn't care about this woman. The answer is clearly that this man is doing battle with his own mind. C is our answer. So as you can see, the main idea of a prose is no different than a social science, science, or humanities. We simply have to pay attention to the way the main idea question is worded, such as, what is the author's central conflict? In our next lesson, we'll go over a natural sciences main idea question to really sharpen our skills.